Hey you guys, hope you're doing well. So I want to talk a little bit about pruning. Pruning fruit trees is really just dependent on the tree. So we're talking about pruning peaches. Peaches are pruned to a very open shape to make the harvesting easier. It's a tree that wants to put up a central leader, has a strong apical dominance, which means that it shoots up, and like pears as well, it means they often have a lot of vertical branches, and so they do require a good bit of training. This tree was a multi-graft tree that has lost its other grafts, and all that's left, this is a Flordaprince, and it's been a really nice tree, just really early, and not a lot of bugs because of that. So at one point it did have another branch on this side down low. So this is the branch that died, that was mid-pride, and so mid-pride died, and that kind of changed the structure of it. And also I was not a religious sort of very consistent pruner. I think I probably touched it up a little bit its first year after it was in the ground, and then I missed a year, and then I pruned. It was almost every other year I touched this tree, because I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I wanted it to be wild or not, because part of me wants it to just be a wild food forest exactly how it would be in nature, and that peach tree would be really high, and then every once in a while I get the impulse and go, okay, but you're never going to harvest those peaches, they're all going to be out of reach and the bugs will get them. And so then I do interact. Sometimes you know, that's my pattern. So how to prune your tree to get it to be the vase shape. The first year is you are stopping that apical dominance and you're pushing out some side buds, some lateral growth, right? So you're going to cut your tree down. This is what I definitely did with this tree, and it's very necessary to ever have a really, you know, a long-term low tree. You have to do that major stunting cut to drive low branches, because otherwise you'll never get a branch to sprout out really low. Now here's the graft right here, and here's where the branches started to happen, and that was from topping it down in its first year. So from those lateral growths, they're going to go out and then they're going to go up, and all you're doing is you're choosing, let's look right here, hopefully this comes into focus. So say this is a branch that went out and then up. All you're doing is you're taking your cut always at a point, at a point where there is an outward facing bud, so that as it grows out, it kind of shoots out this way and then goes up and shoots out that way. And you can kind of push it lower and further out that direction. Like there, you can see a cut right here, where that cut right there was made to push this lower branch, to get more energy into that branch shooting out that direction. And so that's really it. You know, a few thoughtful cuts make a big difference. Now you don't want, so this isn't ideal. So see how we have a long right angle? This is just not as strong structurally, and you know, we'll see if the tree can handle it. This is from me not coming and pruning every year. So so my first intervention is to top everything at 8, and I mean just like lawnmower straight across. Now I might want to thin when I get up there, and after I start doing it, I might want to take out some larger branches. So like these kind of guys, you know, at some point I might say, hey, this tree is going to be larger, and then I'll take out one of these and say this is my preferential branch, just to give it more open structure, because what you're trying to do is keep the interior open from being this sort of like sticky mess, you know, a lot of branches. You want to keep some space between your branches for airflow and things like that, for just consistent light. Oh man, the chickens are going out. Hold on. All right, you guys, chickens are back inside, and so now it's time to get pruning. Basically, I wait until the leaves hopefully drop. Unless we get a hard freeze, they don't. The leaves did drop. It was already flowering even before the freeze, and our winters are just so confusing that this cultivar at least usually flowers in the fall and just doesn't hold the fruit. And so I'm just going to ignore the flowers. It didn't seem like major flowers, but it's kind of now or never, because flowers usually mean leaves are soon to follow. So basically it thinks it is spring. It it got its chill hours that it wanted. And so we're getting a freeze this weekend, but probably not hard enough of a freeze to even damage flowers or the new leaves. So time to get to work. Alright, I'm done, so let's take a look. Now, I am not claiming to be perfect and that this job is perfect, and even that's the tricky thing is it all depends on the tree, what you want to accomplish with it, what you want to do. But I can say that I have the university training, and I'm at least qualified to share the general idea about it. So here you can see some of the cuts I made. Like here's a cut where we're trying to push energy away, get it nice and broad. And my main goal with this tree was to just slow down its height, not like in a orchard situation where the trees have to be a certain height. It's a lot more strict. Here I just did cuts to lower it down. And with peach as well, by just topping, because it kind of got these water sprouts every year, it just has such vigor, these kind of shoots. By just cutting them by a third or by half, you put a lot of good energy into your fruit, because it's going to have fewer flowers for the amount of leaves. It's going to quickly regrow those leaves. So this is the kind of cut you're looking for. Like this kind of cut pushes growth out that direction. And my loppers were really dull. This kind of cut, see, I topped that branch, is going to push more growth that way, and I left this guy because I figured, hey, there's not really a branch in that area, and so I was kind of letting it get away with a little more. Over here, it was just a lot of little topping of those guys and topping of the taller branches. Here's another cut where you can just see, by cutting here, I'm pushing energy this direction, and by up there, I'm pushing energy this direction. I'm trying to train these branches to go wider, more of a vase shape. So that's about it. I topped these guys. I'm kind of iffy on whether or not I should. And I left, so I did clean out some. You might have seen a few like this kind of cut of kind of opening up the interior, because it's a bit crowded. But I honestly want the feedback. I want to know, whether or not it really is that bad to have extra leaves and fruit inside. So over here on this side, I did pretty much the same thing. Oh, excuse me. Stepping up on the bucket. I just basically made some cuts to top it, to lower it. This was 4 or 5 feet of growth, and the same with these over here. That was a lot of height that came off right there and right there. And so we're bringing the tree back down. Right here is a decent, cut. Just basically bringing it down. Sorry. Bringing it down and spreading out those branches and kind of thinking about where they're going to be placed. So that's about it. And in the middle of full bloom. So again, we'll see. Peaches are tricky, with the frost, and then with the plum curculio, the little worms that get in them. They're pretty tricky. But that's my take on it, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.